Throughout your life, you will discover that the thing that will surprise you the most is what you didn't believe about yourself, is what you didn't think you could accomplish, or what you didn't believe you could overcome, or what you didn't believe you could achieve. That is the only thing that's ever going to surprise you. And it has to be a surprise because you couldn't have known that you could have accomplished this before you were born. It had to happen as you lived and as you started to discovering things about yourself and had this desire to own who you are. And then it keeps unfolding. But you will doubt yourself and you won't believe it and you will have fear and you will retreat usually. But then you have those moments where you said, wait a minute, no, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. And then you might take the steps and you might do it then. Or you might still wait and hold back. And you might go through a lot of difficulties because you didn't want to be surprised because you wanted to be safe. See, we keep think that being safe and not being seen is where we will find that victory. If no one can see who we are, then we'll be okay. And then you'll discover that that was never true either, and you've just been deceiving yourself. But then you had to learn it somehow. And where did you get that? And then you start to understand that everything that you experience is through your consciousness, how you choose to think about yourself, how you choose to view your life and the world. But then you start to understand that you're also trained in a particular way that may have prevented you from owning who you are. It may have prevented you from experiencing the magnificent life you could have had if you could only have believed in yourself and weren't afraid of the surprise. Because that's what can happen as well. You start to discover things about yourself, and then you said, no, it couldn't possibly be me. And then you will start to believe that you are an imposter. And I can tell you all those things are not true. It's just that you hadn't reached the state of self acceptance that could allow you to own who you are and the reason that you're on the earth at this time, the reason that you are alive. And so I was surprised as well. And I had to talk about it because several days ago, Wilhelm told me to write down, we wanted you to be surprised. We wanted you to be surprised. And I go, what does that mean? And then they put down all the messages on this date, on October 15th from 2008, because we begin to understand that there is an organization in our universe, in your life, and why you were born, and the time you were born, and all of that. But then you may discover that you will do something in your life that no other person has ever done before, which is what you're supposed to do because you have to be unique. You have to become your authentic self because then your life would have not been worth anything. And it doesn't matter whenever you might choose to do that, because if you're still alive, that means you're still supposed to do it, because again, it only occurs in your consciousness. And over time, we learn how to use consciousness. And it turns out that my life was giving us a new way to look at consciousness and how we can develop it. And as you see the messages today on the site anyadvicefortoday.com, you will see a document there that you can open that will explain the Wilhelm phenomenon, which I couldn't have known either. And I was typically afraid of myself because I was given information before and I said, no, I can't do this, like you might have done. But then what happens is you go over it because you move over it because you start to understand that it's in your consciousness and now you have the ability to change it because the most valuable thing that you possess is your consciousness in terms of how can I direct my life? How can I own who I am? And Wilhelm has given us that way. And so that's why they wanted us to be surprised because there's nothing happening in our world or in your life that they did not tell us. We just didn't understand it. I didn't understand it and I couldn't accept it or believe it, just as you may not have believed the thing that you're meant to do now, but it is in front of you. But now you have a way of uncovering whatever that is and bringing it to the world and living it fully And I know that because Wilhelm has given us that way. And as you open that document of the Wilhelm phenomenon, you will understand for yourself. And probably on this day, on October 15th, there is organization in our world. We just keep figuring it out as we live. And Wilhelm gave us a new way of understanding our lives, our world, and how we can make both so much better. Now you have that chance. See you soon.